Thank you, Jesus. Once upon a time, there was a very young man. Now, I want you to do this. If you're a man, I want you to project a man in this story that I'm giving you. If you're a lady, I want you to project a lady in your mind with this story that I'm giving you. Now, this young man or this lady, this young lady, sees his friends or her friends abroad taking nice pictures. They're in America, they're in the UK. Oh my God, they are driving in a Tesla, taking pictures of themselves in the snow. Nice pictures. Their skin is on top, their skin is popping. He sees another set of friends at the airport waiting for departure. They take snaps of their plane tickets or whatever and give it a caption, goodbye Ghana, see you, whatever. And this friend of theirs can't help but feel jealous. He feels that the moment they are gone abroad, they have gone abroad, or they have left their country, whether Ghana, whether Nigeria, or any African country, and he gets to America or she gets to America, automatically he has become successful, and he or she in that country back home is going to be a failure. He feels insecure. She feels that her life is not going to improve like how her friend's life is going to improve from that day onwards. He can't help but feel jealous. So he goes on to YouTube and says that I would also travel abroad. He goes on YouTube and search for how to study in abroad. 15 schools in America with scholarships. He goes on Google, apply to US schools with full scholarship. Apply to schools in the Europe with full scholarship. And he sees a strange link where he doesn't even do further checks or verifies the link. He clicks on that link or clicks on the link takes him to a different site. He enters his full name, his email address, and clicks on submit, thinking he has actually applied to a school. What if I told you that this person or this story that I'm giving you isn't a real story and it's actually a real person? It's a real person in your life. Do you know who that person is? That person is you. You probably clicked on this video because the title suggests that a complete guide to studying in the US. I'm going to give you the US because I'm actually in the US right now. I can talk about Canada, I can talk about the UK, but then I'm in the US, so I can give you much more experiences and much more knowledge about this area. Now, today's video is going to be a full 1 hour, 30 minutes. I plan to make it about an hour and 30 minutes guide. Complete guide. The belief or the aim of this video is not to make you go back to any YouTube video. 15 ways to get free scholarship. 2 ways to pay your school fees in the US. Can you wait to complete your whatever? Those questions on your mind. All these questions bothering you. The aim of this YouTube video is to answer every single question on your mind. Probably about 90%. So on my screen here, I have a script, and I would like to mention all the topics that I will talk about in this YouTube video. You should know that this is not going to be a regular video you've been watching with all these graphic editing and all these strange videos chipped in and music at the background and stuff. This is going to be a very raw, uncut, no edit, nothing, just the plain you. That is why I'm not even going to edit the parts that I make mistakes. I would stumble or I would fumble along the line, but I'm not going to edit it because I want this video to be very real. I want this video to speak to you. And I can guarantee you that 3 things will happen to you after you watch this video. Number 1, not only are you going to get motivated or inspired to start your journey, you are going to come here, live here with all doubt in your mind cleared, and you have a very clear conscience on why you actually want to study abroad or you actually want to relocate abroad. So I would like to mention all these topics that I have on my screen right here. Don't get worried if I look on my screen because I actually have the script or I actually have the table of contents projected on my screen. But before that, I would like to tell you who I am and why you should listen to me in the first place. So you probably know my name, Sam Charles. It's on the whatever YouTube name or something. And I've been on this journey on traveling abroad since I was 12 or 13 years, so more than 10 years. And I took it very serious from the year 2018, but then I actually relocated to the US in 2023. And I made so many mistakes that I wouldn't even want you watching this video to make. So many mistakes that I could have even prevented, mistakes that I could have even avoided, mistakes that weren't even supposed to be done. I could have prevented all these mistakes, but yet I went ahead and made them. I applied for a Canadian visa and got refused after 1 year. Now, you know this Canadian process, it normally takes about 2-3 weeks or sometimes a month, and then you get feedback from them. I applied, and for 1 year, I had no feedback from the embassy. I had the feedback the next year, and it was refused. and I moved to the US. I applied for Canada again, don't get me wrong, and I was refused again. I applied for US and got refused on the first try. I applied again, got refused on the second try, and guess what? On the third attempt, I got approved. So I literally know much more about this thing that I'm about to talk about. Everything that I'm sharing with you is something based solely from experience. Along the line, I've been applying for schools over here. I have people that I applied for them to come here. I have people who are still applying back in Ghana and stuff. So I really know much more about this process. Of course, I'm not going to sound perfect, but I have so much experience with this thing. So now that you know who I am, I think you are sure of who you are listening to and why you should listen to me. But before that, I made an ebook already. Those on TikTok know this. I made an ebook titled The American Dream. It's about 26 pages, which literally summarizes every single thing that I'm talking about in this video, from how to get application waivers, how to apply to schools, scholarships, everything about this US study abroad stuff. I made an ebook about it. So the link is going to be in the description. That is if you want one. It's probably about $2 or $125 or so. I don't know. I don't really know. So the main thing that we'll be talking about in today's video is going to be, the first thing is your mindset and motivation behind why you'd actually want to relocate abroad. The second thing we are going to talk about, which I wouldn't really spend much time because it's not really that of a bother, is how much it costs you to study in the US. I get this question a lot. That is why I'm chipping this in. The next thing that we'll talk about is choosing the right university in the US. And the next thing we'll talk about, to proceed to talk about the admission process, how to apply to schools, scholarships, SAT scores, application process, timeline, and all these things that most people normally ask about. And we'll talk about scholarships and financial aid, of course. Then we'll move to the most important part, which is student visas, how to handle US visa rejections, how to pass your visa interview. Solely from my experience, I'm going to share why I was refused first two times and why I was approved on the third attempt. I'm going to explain every single thing here. And the next thing, we'll move on to accommodation options in the US. We'll talk about cultural adjustments here in the US, academic life, work opportunities, making the most of your experience, graduation, blah, blah, blah. And then I would share personal mistakes that I made over here that you wouldn't want to avoid. Sorry, you would want to avoid. And the last session, we'll talk about some questions that I wrote here, some questions that I had from TikTok or Instagram. I'll chip them all into this video. So without further ado, the first thing is the motivation behind you relocating abroad. I'll be very honest with you guys. My mindset with the US, or the kind of mindset that I had, or that really inspired me, wasn't really the best. Okay, so a bit background about me. My family, we didn't really have anyone abroad. You know, from that kind, you come from that family where you don't really know anyone who lives in the US or is abroad. You don't have any uncle or anything. Well, I had an uncle and two cousins, but they don't talk to us anymore. So I don't really count them as part of us. So I see people who had uncles, their fathers were in the US, their kids were in the US, blah, blah, blah. You see, there's a family where it's like almost all the relatives are in Canada and Germany, some are in UK, some are in this, Europe, this, that, that. And I look into my family, we didn't really have people like that. I'm not saying that I come from a poor family, but we didn't really have people like that. And it's really bothered me. Like, I wanted us to have a family where you could see that, oh, our uncle is abroad, we have an uncle abroad, we have this abroad, we have that abroad. And that was number one motivation behind me relocating. The second reason of me relocating to America was because of the things that I wanted to do, or the things that I do. So you might not know, but I have a podcast, I write books, I do a lot of things, and none of these things would work in Ghana. None of these. Like, I mean, I've published books on Amazon, and because I published them from Ghana, the account got banned because they thought that it was fraudulent something something. Just because I was in Ghana. So it wasn't possible for me to do all these things, all my passions. I can't do all these things back home. So I had to relocate. And another reason why I relocated was because I wanted to read law. I wanted to be a lawyer. And no school in Ghana accepted me because these were my grades for WASI. I didn't have an A in my WASI. I had just some B3s, Cs, and a D7 in my WASI core math. So obviously Legon rejected me. UPSA gave me a diploma program. KNUST didn't accept me. So I had no options than to relocate. And that is the good thing about studying abroad. They don't really base your competence on your grades. Like, you see how Ghana, when you get eight A's, it means you are sharp, you are very smart, you know book here, you are that kind of person. Over here, they don't really judge you based on your academics. They base their acceptance on the admissions based on your competence. So when you come here, about 80% of my people, the people in my school, are on scholarship. And guess the kind of scholarships they are on? Sports scholarship. How many schools in Ghana have sports scholarship? I mean, you play basketball, so they are going to give you a scholarship based on that. These people get more scholarship than anyone else in the school. Those who play for the football, those who run athletics, cross country, all these people get the most scholarships. It's not based on academics. So looking at a country that doesn't base your competence or that doesn't judge your future based on your academics, why wouldn't I even move here in the first place? So that was the motivation behind it. Now let's talk about you. What is the main reason? I want you to look deep down within you. Why do you want to move abroad? Why do you want to study abroad? Is it because you see your friends out there taking pictures in the snow? Like, yeah, making snaps like, yeah, at New York. Oh, he was in New York last week. Hi, this boy is chilling. This boy, hi, we can't find you. You see your friends at Terminal 3 making snaps and all that, and you feel this kind of jealousy in you. You feel like they are better than you. You feel like their life is going to improve. You feel like their life is going to improve while you will be behind. So you also want to start relocating, you also want to jackpot, that's what they call it, or you also want to be on this journey. What is the real motivation behind it? Is it because they said Africa has become hard? Ghana right now, the economy is heated. Like people call me all the time, Charlie, right now, Ghana has become hot too. Charlie, I have to leave the country. Like that thing, Charlie, we all for left the country, we all for left the country. Is that really the motivation? The reason why I'm talking about motivation as the first thing is that it will get to a point where you face a lot of hurdles, a lot of things to fight you. You'll be refused visas, you would get denied by schools, a whole lot of things would fight you, things that would push you down. And guess the only thing that would be holding you? Your motivation, your why, the reason why you actually want to do this thing, the reason why you want to start on this journey. Like yesterday, I made a video on TikTok. What is the main reason? Like, I want you to ask yourself, write down, why do you actually want to relocate abroad? Give yourself honest reason. Be honest with yourself. Don't think about how your color is going to pop when you come out here, or how you're going to be eating, chilling, and fun parties, you meet celebrities and all that. But you don't think about that. Let there be some motivation behind it, because it's for your own good. I'm not saying your motivation because I feel like you are wasting your time. I'm saying because I know to get to a point you will want to give up, and your friends will not encourage you. Your brothers will not encourage you. Your uncles and relatives will not encourage you. Everyone is going to lose hope in you. But then the motivation or the why you want to be on this journey will be the only thing to fall on. I want you to have your motivation down. Why do you actually want to be on this journey? Why do you want to be on this journey? Now let's talk about the next thing, mindset and motivation. So we've already spoken about it. Now I would like to skip the why or how much it would actually cost you to study. I will actually bring it at the latter part. I would actually bring it at the latter part of this video. So now let's start with the study. I'm well versed with the studying because I'm actually a student here. I don't really know much about working. So choosing the right university. I get asked often, I get plenty DMs. People are like, can you give me a list of schools that would actually help me get scholarship? Which schools are there? Easy admissions, easy acceptance? Like, which school do you think I can get admitted into? First of all, I don't know you. How would I even tell you the kind of school you should choose? The kind of school that I would like to be in, you might not like to be in. The kind of school that I would like to be in, you might not probably like to be, because I'm in a white state, a predominantly white state, and you barely meet black people here. You barely meet black people here. Barely. I'm in a predominantly white state where almost everyone here, 90% of the population here are white people. Would you like to be in such an environment? Would you like to be in a school where all your course mates are white people? The lecturer is a white person. Everyone around you is a white person, and you are the only black person. Fair enough, you want to be in such situation, fine, because you are back home, you would see that, oh, there's nothing wrong with it here, like it's fine. Or you want to be in a multicultural state like New York, Florida, California. You want to be in such states. So all these kind of questions, when you ask yourself, they will direct you to the kind of school that you choose. What kind of school would you like to choose? Probably I'm an introvert and I don't want to be in a large setting where a lot of people are walking around left, right, left, right. I would like to be in a school where the population is very small. You don't really have much people going, like a college, a simple college, where the population is about just 2,000 people or 1,500 people. So that when we are in class, we have about just 13 people in class or 12 people in class and just one professor. Or you are the type that you are very extroverted, you want to meet a lot of people, so you'll be in a very large community, universities, state universities, universities where there are 17,000 people, 15,000 people, like in Ghana, University of Ghana, or in Nigeria, all these top universities where they are very populated. You want to ask yourself this question because they will direct and they will lead you to the kind of university that you choose. The next question that you would ask yourself if you want to choose your university is, how much are you willing to spend on your education every year? Now, I'm going to be like you because that is the mindset that I came with. I'm going to be like you. Oh, once I get here, I'll be fine. I'll get the money. I'll get the money to pay. I don't really care about the fees here. How much are you willing? Because I think one thing most people don't really see is Studying abroad is just like studying in Ghana. It's like trying to study in the Legon. You don't go to Legon with the mindset that you don't really care about the fees you're going to be paying in a year, or as soon as I get to Legon, I'll figure out, or because it's America, so I'll get the money, I'll work and pay and get all those things. I'll come back to that topic, but how much are you willing to spend on this? And this question can be very annoying because your mindset is that, oh, I just want to leave the country, come here through the school means or through any easy means to just get here. When you ask yourself this question, it's going to direct you to schools that have a higher chance of getting a scholarship, full scholarship, or even a partial scholarship. So let's say I get a school that gives me 50% scholarship. Let's say their balance is $10,000. I can pay for that money. Let's say I get a school that doesn't even give me any scholarship. I can pay for all the $70,000, all the $50,000, all the $20,000. I can pay for all these things. They will direct you to a certain group of schools. But then when you know that you are someone like me who you had zero source of income, no background, nothing, so you want a school that will take care of every fees of yours, be ready to pay the price because this money aren't given to you for nothing. It's an investment. And it's just a few schools that are going to cater for every fees of yours based on your academics or based on your competence or something. So these are the things that would guide you into choosing the right school for yourself. What kind of program do I want to read? Are these people very good in the program that I want to read? This is a liberal arts college. Liberal arts college are these schools with social sciences, humanities, those art courses, those law and all these things. And or you want to go to a school that is very good in tech, like these Institute of Technology, MIT, these universities with tech STEM programs. These are some of the things that you would want to ask yourself. And then you consider another factor that I made a mistake on, that is location. Now, one mistake that I made that most people probably are making right now is being so concerned about the location that you are schooling, in the sense that you want to go to a school in a location where it's very popular, like New York. Hey, you're schooling in New York, like, yeah, you want to go to school in New York, or you want to go to a school in California so that you go to Los Angeles. You want to go to a school in probably Virginia, or you want to go to a school in Florida because it's closer to this amusement park or something. You want to consider all these things because, mind you, over here, the states over here in the US, every state is different, and the cost of living in every single state is different. So the cost of a state or the cost of living in a state affects your school fees. So that was what led to my second visa refusal. So at the second visa refusal, the balance that I went for the interview was with 55,000 US dollars. That was what I told the visa officer that I could pay. And then she did me a very huge favor by refusing my visa. She did me a very huge favor because when she interviewed me and everything, the question she asked, she was like, I was on point, but my fees is too much. $55,000 in New York. How are you going to raise this money? Because I wanted to go to New York so badly. Like, New York was my dream location. I wanted to go to New York. But I applied to schools in the New York, and the cost of living in New York for a year was $36,000. Compared it to the states I'm currently in, which is $10,000, extra $26,000. So let's say the school fees is $20,000. Cost of living is $30,000. How much are you already owing? $50,000. And mind you, these are the figures that will be written on your I-20. And when they are written on your I-20 document, by the way, an I-20 document is a document sent from the school after they approve your admission and blah blah blah. They print it and you take it to the interview. I'll explain it later. So when you go to the interview on the I-20, they've written $55,000 as the balance. The visa officer doesn't use her mind or his mind to calculate that, oh, let me subtract living expenses from it for about 30,000. Okay, he can pay the rest. He or she would assume that you have this money. So why not apply to a school in a state where probably cost of living is $10,000, which is the average a year, and their fees are around $30,000. So even if they give me a 50% scholarship, I know I have a balance of $22,000 compared to a school in New York where my balance will be $40,000, and the visa officer would not believe me because you are coming from Ghana, you are coming from Nigeria. How many people have $60,000 in their bank account? How many people? How many people have? And one thing most people don't know is that when you go to the interview with a bank statement that your uncle is sponsoring, the visa officer sees your sponsor as your uncle. Okay, he's your uncle. Your uncle has kids. He has about 4 kids. In his bank statement, he has about, let's say, $50,000, and you are saying that he's going to sponsor you with $30,000. Who on earth would sponsor his nephew with $30,000 and be left with $20,000 for he and his kids and his other staff? Who do that? So it doesn't make sense to the visa officer, and they refuse you. That is why most people go to the interview with their uncle's bank statement and they get bounced and they're like, my uncle had so much money in his bank account. They would factor in certain things like, your uncle is married, he has house rent to pay, he has kids to take care of. Why would he even sponsor you, who is not his direct son, with 70% of his annual income? It doesn't make sense to them. So you want to consider the location of the school as well. So you consider the location, the campus culture, and the size as well. Let's move to another important section of this video, which is the admission process. How to actually apply for schools in the US. Now, I get asked this question often. How do I actually apply to school in the US? I went to this site, I submitted my information, and they didn't send me any email. I sent the link so many times. I'm waiting for the email. Nothing actually came. I wished I could go on my laptop and do some one or two applications, but it would take so much time. So let me just explain it. Now, to apply for a school, I've given you the criteria, so you consider the location, the culture of the school, the settings of the school, and all that. Probably an uncle lives closer to the school, or he lives in that state, so you want to go to a school by then. You have a list of schools in that community. That one is very easy. You can just Google. Probably you settled on a state like, let's say, Ohio. Ohio is very common, so you settled on a state like Ohio. You can probably go online and use ChatGTP. ChatGTP is just 2021 update, so just search list of all universities in Ohio or list of all universities in this particular state. It gives you the list, and this is the time you get serious. This is the time you start doing deep research. Consider the acceptance rates. If you know that your admission, the grades aren't the best, or you don't really have a lot of recommendation letters, or you don't really have a lot of extracurricular activities, you wouldn't want to tempt the schools that have higher lower acceptance rates like 20% and 30%. They will not pick you because they are picking the top students. They are picking the students that are going to be a great return to their investment. So if you know that your grades, you had D's and E's like me, you had C's and all these things, you wouldn't want to attempt these schools. Rather, you attempt schools that have acceptance rate of probably 60% upwards, 70%. How do you see the acceptance rate? Simple. You Google the acceptance rate of the university you have in mind. So I mean, University of Charleston. University of Charleston acceptance rate is probably about 70% or 60%. I don't really know. So what I would do if I was in a show is that I would have a list of 10 schools, and I'll list them in order. Probably two of them would be 40% acceptance rate, three of them would be 60% acceptance rate, four of them would be 70% acceptance rate. I'll have all these schools. So in that case, I don't get bounced all my admission. I don't apply to top schools and get refused all the time because I want full scholarship or something. You apply to schools that you know that no matter what per your grades, you're going to get admitted. And I know it's going to be very expensive with application fee waivers and stuff, application fees and stuff. But I'm going to show you ways that you are going to get application fee waivers. So we are talking about the admission process. So once you settle on, let's say, the 10 schools or the 5 schools or the 16 schools that you have in mind, I've applied to over 120 schools since I started this journey. I've applied to more than 200 schools. I can confidently say it. I've applied to a lot of schools. So you just go on the website and search University of Missouri or University of Texas or University of this / apply. It's very simple. And then you create your account and apply, submit the application online. It's very simple. You don't need any complicated thing. Just go on the website, put your phone off Twitter and all those things. Don't stop wasting your internet on these apps. Just go on the Google, go on your laptop, any little time that you have, go on the school's website, read things about it, read about the scholarship opportunities that you have. That is what they will never tell you. They will tell you that once we accept you, we give you a scholarship for this, for just being accepted into our school, you are given an amount of scholarship. But they don't tell you that when you get into the school, you get a lot of scholarships. Like myself, I had just an academic scholarship. I was given just an academic scholarship based on my grades. When I came here, there are more than 10 scholarships that I actually qualify for. When you join the music over here, you are being given a scholarship. When you join the band here, you're given a scholarship. I work with the football team and I'm giving a scholarship for that. There are positions here like SRC, the way Ghana SRC, they don't really do anything for them. You come here, your SRC, your fees will be paid for. You work for the school's cafeteria, they will pay part of your fees. So when you get it, there are a lot of scholarships. That is why when people are worried how they're going to pay their fees, I'll tell you that when you get here, you'll be fine. But it doesn't mean that fix your mind solely on, oh, when I come here, I'll figure it out within those 2 weeks. You have to get let's say a backup plan. That is what is our team. Backup plan like a loan or an anchor or something who is going to help you pay your fees. In case all these scholarships fail you, don't fail you by the way, don't fail you. So once you go to the site and you select the school university / apply, you are done. That is the only process. Submit the application. Make sure you receive the confirmation that your application has been submitted. And what I would recommend is after every week, email the admissions office of that school to ask about an update on your application. You ask for an update that, oh, how far with the application? I submitted this 2 weeks ago. Is there any process? Is there anything I'm left to do? Is there anything I'm left to do? Nothing. If you don't do this thing, you're going to be in trouble. That is what made me very stranded about a month to attend my US visa interview. I'd applied for my I-20 and everything, and the school hasn't sent the I-20. I've paid everything to them, and less than a month, I'm supposed to go for my interview. I sent them a follow up that I haven't received my I-20, and they sent me a shocking message that I actually need a transcript evaluation. After I have wasted all this time on them waiting that they will send me my I-20, they told me that I need a transcript evaluation. And the transcript evaluation, if you know this thing, you know it's very stressful. You have to submit it online. It takes about 10 business days. That is the highest or the least also. 10 business days, not including the holiday, the weekends and all these things. So 10 business days is probably over 3 weeks for them to receive it. Once they receive it, before they process, how long would you get? So I was very stressed just because I didn't ask how far with my application earlier on. So you want to do a follow up all the time. Now let's talk about tests. Do I need SAT scores? Do I need GMAT? Do I need all these things? Truth of the matter is that I didn't write any of them. In the beginning, I wanted to write. I was learning for it. I had the money. I just wasn't interested in writing the SAT. But then my friends were writing it. On the time that I was interested in writing the SAT, when I went to the venue for the day came for us to write the test. I got to the venue, and that is when COVID-19 social distances has started. So they canceled the test. So that was the very day that the test wasn't written. I don't know if I'll find a picture or something. I'll just post it on my screen or something. I don't know if I'll edit this video. So if you want to know whether you need SAT test or GMAT test, it will be based on the grade. So if you are someone whose WASI grade wasn't really the best, you had a lot of D's, E's, C's, then you might want to consider writing the SAT because it's not hard, it's not difficult, it's just math and English. You would want to consider writing the SAT for more scholarships. That is it. The SAT, it's written here, it's normal for them to write SAT. So if you want your grade, it's more like a backup for your grade. It's like it's improved, it shines your grade. Let's say you didn't really do well in your WASI, the SAT is the chance for you to prove yourself that, oh, I'm actually a good student. So that is the only condition that you would want to consider writing an SAT. But after the COVID, most schools cancelled SAT. Most schools they don't really accept SAT. They can let you go away without writing a SAT. That is why I said I didn't write any SAT. Talking about GMAT and GRE, I'm not a graduate student, so I don't really know if you are supposed to write GMAT if your grades aren't good. But then you should probably do a research if you think your school requires GRE or GMAT. Ask them for the advantages and disadvantages of writing the GMAT and submitting it to the school. If you think it's a great thing, then why not? You have to go for it. So that is how to know if you need an SAT scores or a GMAT. Let's go to scholarships and financial aid, the most important thing. Since it's important, let me just scholarships and financial aid. You would need a scholarship. I'm telling you, you will need financial aid. Okay, no matter who you are, no matter how rich you are, you need a scholarship or you need a financial aid. So how do you get scholarships and financial aid? About 80% of the schools over here give them to you automatically as some source of some form of help. So let's say, let me give you a very realistic figure. Let's say the entire fees for the year would be $45,000. When you submit your application based on the grades, oh, this guy is a very good student. He's going to be a good return to investment. Oh, he has a very great grades. Like his results are very good. Let's give him $20,000 in scholarship. So they give you that $20,000. You'll be left with $25,000 as balance to pay. Okay, this guy is very good. We have a lot of money, especially the private schools in the US. They have a lot of money. So let's say my fees is $45,000. Let's give him $25,000, or let's give him $30,000. Not all schools can give that money though, but some schools would give you about $20,000, $18,000, and stuff. So when they give you this scholarship, they are automatic scholarship. You don't need to apply for it. They give it to you as part of the admission. So the moment you are accepted, once the first page will be your application, acceptance, whatever, and the second page will be the scholarship letter. So once you get a scholarship, the rest is up to you. They are expecting you to pay the rest from pocket. And this is where you need to be smart. So when you have the balance of 25,000, you want to break it down. How can I reduce this money to, let's say, $10,000 a year or $15,000 a year or $5,000 a year? That is when you look for scholarships in the school. They will not tell you that, oh, our school has scholarship for this, our school has scholarship for that. You have to do the research. You have to email the department because here they don't really work as one body. There's separation of powers. So this department, my school, the choir team normally gives scholarship. If you join the choir, they give you $4,000. If you join the band, they give you $4,000 a year. So let me give you a very realistic example. So let's say my balance is probably $26,000. That was what I bought, $26,000. Living expenses was $10,000. So you subtract the $10,000 from the $26,000. I'm left with $16,000. to pay out of pocket. $16,000, it includes your accommodation, your feeding. By the way, those of you asking for accommodation and stuff, the school has accommodation and everything. They feed you 3 times a day, meal plan, everything. So it's all in the fees. So you have $16,000, and let's say you are in my school. When you join the band, you get $4,000 off it for a year. So $4,000, 16,000 minus the 4,000, you are left with $12,000. You join, let's say, the choir, another 4,000 is gone. You are left with how much? $8,000. Let's say you play athletics or you join the football team and you perform very well. In Ghana, they don't really come there to scout for footballers and stuff. You guys would have gotten so much scholarships coming there because Ghana's athletic team is very good. So let's say I'm left with $8,000. $8,000. I start working for the cafeteria, I start working for the school's cafeteria or whatever. And when you work for the cafeteria, you don't pay for meal plan and stuff. The meal plan is around, let's say, $2,500. So out of the 8,000, let's say $30,000 is gone. I'm left with $5,000 to pay in a year. $5,000, you join, let's say, the football team. I work with the football team. They give me a scholarship. Let's say $4,000, $5,000. All these scholarships have come together, and then the fees are gone. And now the interesting thing is that you still can work on campus for 20 hours. So when you work on campus, you're probably going to make about $10 an hour. It depends on your state. You make about $10 an hour, $12 an hour, whatever amount you make. Yes, and your fees will be gone. So this is how most people actually pay for their fees over here. But mind you have to take your time because you have to go for rehearsals for band, you have to go for rehearsals for football. All these things that you involve yourself, you have to go for rehearsals because if you don't go for rehearsals, they are going to take away your scholarship. They are going to kick you out and they are going to take away your scholarship. And your academic scholarship that I mentioned earlier on is also based on a grade. Normally, when they give it to you, they expect that you maintain a GPA of probably 2.5 or 3.0. So when you start messing up your grade, and let's say you start falling off for one semester, they give you a warning that this is the last semester to prove us wrong. When you miss that GPA mark, they will take that scholarship from you. And it's a very huge amount of money. So you're going to be messed up. You're going to be confused. So you have to factor in all these things. So this is how to get scholarships and financial aids. So I don't know if I should mention schools that I know give scholarship, but I know that every US school gives you an automatic scholarship. The moment that they accept you, every school in the US gives you a merit scholarship. Merit is the academics, right? Now, I'll talk about need-based scholarship, but I don't know okay, let me talk about it briefly. So need-based scholarship is a scholarship given to you because you don't really have money. And these universities, they are not even up to 20. They are the top universities like Harvard, Columbia University, these Stanford schools. They give it to you because they know that you don't have the money to pay for your fees. So I'm going to give you a scholarship because you need it. And the whole application process is just a lot. And if you know that it involves a lot of applications, you need to write essays and a whole lot of things. So you just go by what I gave you earlier on, the process that I used. I'm speaking from my experience. So the process that I used. Now, the most important thing that most of you, it's really discouraged a lot of you guys is visa. You heard that, oh, US visa is very difficult to get. When you go for the interview, 2 seconds, they'll bounce you. When you go there, they'll not even listen to you. Actually, right now, US, the visa is very hard though. They'll not even look at your face. All these things are not true, okay? Even though the rates at which people are being refused is very high, but the reason why people are being refused, there is a different reason behind it, which I can't speak out yet, but then there is a bigger reason behind it. But the good news is that people are still being approved, and you can be that person. So when you go for your visa interview, there are certain things that you can actually avoid that would actually boost your chances of being approved. Now, what if I tell you that going for your visa interview, you stand a chance, you going for the interview alone, your visa is predetermined by 50%. It's being approved 50%. And the other 50% is just for you to convince. How do you know if my visa has been predetermined to be approved or not? You fill a form called DS-160 form. Now, what is the DS-160 form? DS-160 form is the online resume you submitted online. So let's say you apply for a job and you submitted your CV online and they call you for an interview. They are going to ask you the questions that you wrote on your CV. The way some of you will lie that, oh, you can speak French or I can't speak French. When you go there, they ask you in French, you can't really speak. That is the same way with the US interview. So probably on your DS-160 form, when you are filling it, and that form, when you fill it and you submit it, you will not get the answers that you actually entered unless you save the application and you can't take it to the interview. So when you fill the DS form 160, you are being asked a lot of questions like your employment history. Have you worked? By the way, never leave that employment history empty. Never ever say you are unemployed. Never. It shouldn't happen. Never say that you are unemployed. They'll ask you like employment history, your background, the job that you do. And then when you go for the interview, you'll be asked again, so what have you been doing for the past 5 years since you completed school? And then you say that, oh, you've just been home saving money and working some charity work. But then on your DS60 form, you wrote that you were working with a law firm or you were working with an organization. Why are you lying in the first place? The moment they invite you, they call you to your counter or whatever, the base officer, they scan your passport, they scan your I-20, and it's been attached to your DS160 form. So the moment they scan it, it's displays on their screen. So when they are interviewing, they are not looking at your face, they are looking on the screen. So this is how the interview is being done. How can you please pass me this document? You pass it. So which school are you attending? And he's looking for the fault. He's looking for the questions to ask you from the DS form. And you start shivering. He wouldn't talk. He wouldn't look at your face. And don't be discouraged when they are not looking at your face. They are listening to you. They are watching the screen, looking for fault on the DS160 form. And they will come. How many years have you been working? And then you say 3 years, but on the DS form it's written 5 years. The moment you say he's not going to give you that, oh, but you've written, no, they are not going, and you start picking the refusal form. That is how it's done. So you want to take the DS form very seriously because the visa, getting refused the visa is very painful. Like I'm telling you from experience, you can go crazy because look at the amount of investment, emotional investment, financial investment you make, and then because of one mistake, you get messed up. Like it's very painful. And another interesting thing about this visa thing is that when you get refused one, it's a red flag at the embassy. So when you get refused one, the good news is that you cannot be interviewed by the person who refused you first. You have to be interviewed by another person the next time you go. So when you go there and he sees that you've been refused before, he's going to be alarmed. My colleague refused this guy. What should be the reason? Don't get me wrong, they have the reason why you were refused. And that one is a red flag. So when I went for my third interview, I was asked, I see that you've been refused 2 times. What has changed about your application? That was the question they asked me. And I told them that I had a school, initially my school, the first school I brought to had a very high fees, but I got a school that has a very low fees, and she was like very good, very good, very, very good. Anyways, it's an Indian woman, God bless her, wherever she is. So you want to take care of that DS160 form. Now I'm going to give you a very quick thing that I did. I don't know if I'll find the file here. A very interesting thing I did during my interview. I already made a video about this on TikTok. So in this paper, on this paper is a set of questions. So you can see here, why are you going to the US? Why this program? Why this school? How will you find your studies? How many universities did you apply to and all that? This was the interview questions that I was asked. Out of these lists, I was asked probably 6 of them. Now, what did I do? Going for my US interview, I know most of you do mock interviews. You expect, which kind of questions am I going to be asked? So what I did is, I typed every single question down. There'll be a probability of me being asked, like how many universities did you apply to, why this degree, and I expected them to be asked although, and I wrote down the answers that I would give. So when in case I go and she asks me why this program, this is the answer that I would give her. Why this school, this is the answer that I would give her. So I typed every single thing and printed it on these sheets. Now when you go for the interview, you're not allowed to go with your phone. So when you're in the queue for about an hour, you cannot be on your phone. So you'll be in the queue just waiting for it to get your turn. So when I went for the interview, I'm not allowed to go with any technology, but I'm allowed to go with documents, right? So I slipped this document into my clear bag. When I got to the interview, I put this document out. And while I was in the queue, first of all, I was praying. Don't get me wrong, I was already praying. So while in the queue, I was just going through the answers. I was just rehearsing, brushing through it because I'm free that time. What else can I do? I can't be standing there looking at people being refused and my heart to be beating. Hey, they refuse this person. I'm stressing, I'm putting tension on myself. So why don't I just prepare myself with this document? And I could tell you that this document really worked. Because the moment it's about, let's say you spend about 40 minutes in the queue, you are learning something new. You are refreshing your mind of the answer that you are going to give. Instead of standing in front of the visa officer and fumbling and stumbling, you have the answers already in your mind fresh. So when it got to my pen, I just folded this paper and they wouldn't talk, they wouldn't say anything. And the answers were very fresh in my mind. So I just poured it out. I just gave it out to them. So this is a very quick hack that you want to do when you're going for your interview. I don't know if I should just link. I'll do that. I'll probably link all the answers. I have the soft copy. I'll link it in my description. And it's also in my, yes, it's in the ebook also. So when you get the ebook, it's in all the questions and the answers that I give. And how my interview was, the real questions that I was asked and the answers that I give, it's all in the ebook. So you don't want to get a copy. So that is the interview for you. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is handling visa refusal. As someone who has been bounced visa for 4 times, Canada to US to I know how to handle visa refusals very well. Now, when you are being refused the US visa, it feels like your world is clashing. You feel like the world is everything, every bad thing will happen to you. I remember when I was refused the US visa, I felt like going back inside the room and asking them. I was just confused. I sat in the car, my mind went off. I just I just went off. It's very painful to be refused a visa because you pay service fee, application fee, all this stress, and then under 3 seconds you will be told the reason why you were refused, and then they'll just give you some 2-1B form and then you just leave the place. It's very painful. So how do you handle visa refusal? The first thing you want to do is there is a reason why you were refused. You weren't refused because the woman doesn't like you or the man doesn't like you. He doesn't know you anyway. You weren't refused because there is some curse following you or some bad spirit monitoring you or anything. You refused before this because there's actually a reason. And the list of reasons is given to you on the paper. Now, the reason why people are angry when they give them that 214B paper is that it's a generic paper. Now, when I say generic, it means that the answers are general. They don't specify the main reason why you were refused. So when you are given the 214B form, it's on a paper, a white pen, they'll be told, we are sorry, your visa has not been approved this time, and these are the reasons. We don't believe that you have the clear intention of coming to the US. You probably don't have home ties or something. They'll give you all the reason. And it's true. When they give you that document, it's true. They are not giving it to you because they have nothing else to give you. They are giving it to you because it's actually true. So they've made your job even easier. So look through your application. What gave them that impression that you will not come back? Probably in your DS 160 form. Let's go back to the DS 160 form. You wrote in a section called clan, charity organizations, job, and all these things. You probably did not choose any clan. When you did not choose any clan, are you part of any clan? No. Are you part of any charity organization? No. Are you part of any organization that you've worked for? No. What are you trying to tell them? It means you don't really have a strong ties back. You don't really have a reason to come back. Whereas when you choose, let's say you are part of the Ga tribe, you are part of the Akan tribe, you are part of the whatever tribe, they know that, oh, he's part of a family. He's definitely coming back. He's not going to naturalize himself when it comes to America. For me, I chose that I've worked with 3 or 4 organizations, charity organizations, and I have a reason to return. I chose I'm part of the Akan tribe. I chose I'm part of this church. Blah blah blah. I chose everything that would make them know that I will definitely come back. Like there's something pulling you back. You understand? So that should be the first reason. Analyze what really went wrong on my application. Was it that my school fees was too much? Some of you will be very good. You'll be very blessed if you are giving the reason. Probably they will tell you that, oh, your bank statement is not enough, which they barely tell you. But when you get a hint of that reason, you should start working on it. Probably your sponsor wasn't the best. Your sponsor was an uncle. They asked for the job he was doing. The moment you mention his job, they pick the refusal form. You should know that the job isn't a job that really fits the kind of income that you went with, and you don't want to work on that. The second thing you want to do is understand that visa refusal isn't the end of the world. Okay, when you get offended or when you get depressed because your visa was refused, it's because there is another reason why you really want to go to America. You are really in a hurry to actually show people that yes, you're in America. Like you also made it. You are really in a hurry. But then when you have a genuine reason that, oh, I believe God's time is the best. By the grace of God, I'll also study in the US. I'll keep trying. I'll keep correcting my mistakes. You'll be fine. You'll not really worry about why they refuse me. I always say, hey, US, you let me try different country, which is the third point. You'd want to try a different country. Probably you aren't destined for US. I know people who were refused for Canada 5 times. They went for US once. They were approved. I know for people who were refused US 6 times. They went for Canada once and they were approved. So that is how to handle visa rejections. So know the main reason why you were rejected. Work on it. Shoot in the application again, and you will be fine. Another misconception that people hold is the visa people or the interviewers have a number of people they approve. I don't really have a strong answer for this, but I kind of think it might be true. Probably when you look at the migration rate here in America, Ghana has been ranked as the #1 country that doesn't return home. So when you go for an interview, they'll ask you, so what are your plans for after school? Oh, I'll come back to my country to help the country, blah, blah, blah. But then you come to the US, they come to the US and then they complete and they don't come back home. They have all these records down. They have all these things. They probably do something, get a green card. So what impression are you creating? Our people who went earlier, they are the ones who created that impression that we will not come back. So they also think that Ghanaians will not come back. So in that case, what are they going to do? Okay, let's give ourselves a number of approvals. That is why they increased the visa fees recently, just to reduce the number of people that apply. Just to reduce the number of people that apply. That is US for you. That is how they work. You can't. It's not them. That is how they work. I'm not really sure, but that is what I think. That they have a number of people that they are working with every single year. Imagine the number of people applying for visas from Ghana, 3 million. How can you approve every one of them? It's not possible. There should be a reason behind it. So that is a misconception, but I don't really know about that. The next thing is accommodation. So over here, the school gives you an accommodation. I wish I show you my room, but I will not. I live in a two bedroom, whatever, in a hostel. And good for me, or funny enough, I don't have a roommate, so I live alone. My roommate didn't come. I don't know why. I don't have a roommate, so I live alone. So this is actually the second part of the room. So the second desk in the room, it has two decks. It's like I can't describe it, but it has two decks. So one for my roommate. This was the desk for my roommate because I chose other decks, but then I'm here using it. So I'm using the entire room to myself. Every single thing in the room is mine. So I live alone. I don't have a roommate. So that is how the US accommodation stuff works. It's part of the fees and everything. Accommodation, eating. So we eat. You go and swipe your card, and then you go and set yourself. There are a lot of food over here. Food is not an issue. Food is the least thing you should worry about. Food is not an issue. So feeding, accommodation stuff is part of your school fees. And then I already answered the securing housing, cultural adjustment. It's very difficult to settle down when you come here. It's very difficult to acclimatize yourself when you come here in the first few months. I mean, I had some people, the people that I became friends with, they really helped me to the extent that I really adjusted to the system very easy. Now, when you move to different states, you would realize that the way they behave is different from other states. So when I came here, I landed in New York. And New York is so chaotic. The background is so noisy. People are so mean. You meet people and they are just so mean to you. Compared to the state that I'm in, West Virginia, they are all calm. They see and they smile. Like everyone is so calm here. So you'll be shocked. Oh, you'll be to West Virginia. The people here are very nice. When I see them, I'll smile. So when you go to New York and you see people and you start smiling at them, bro, they'll ask, what is wrong with you? Funny incident, we were in Brooklyn one time. When I came here, I went to Brooklyn and we were in a car and we saw a group of people, boys gathered somewhere. You know, in Ghana, when people gather somewhere, we normally stretch our leg to see what's actually happening. Bro, I stretched my leg to see what happened, and these boys were like, yo, it's like they were ready to attack me. They wanted to do something to me because they thought I also want to attack them. That is the perception in New York. That is the culture in New York. We don't stare at people. Whereas over here in my state, West Virginia, you can stare at people. They don't really care, of course. So you have to adjust to all these things. Another cultural shock that you have to adjust is I don't know if I should say this, but over here, friendship isn't what we used to have back home. Okay, in Ghana, when you meet someone, you talk to them for the first time. The next time you are obliged to greet them or talk to them or something. Over here, it's not like that. You meet someone today. I had a friend. I spoke to her like 3 hours in one day. We were happy, laughing and all that. The following day, she saw me and she didn't even mind. She pretended that she didn't know me. I was so shocked. I was like, but yesterday I was sitting with you talking. She didn't mind me. She doesn't even talk to me. That is another cultural adjustment. There are so many cultural shocks here. You'll be very lonely to the point that you wish to jump on the next plane back home. I know that in Ghana, people are texting me, they'll be like, Charlie, don't come back to Ghana. Don't come back. Hey, Charlie, the system is working over here. Yes, the system is working. But you should care about your mental health. You should know that over here, when you're a black person, you are kind of disadvantaged because that is how the system has been programmed. When you watch all these podcasts, they say that the system has been programmed to not help black people. So that is what I also think. So you should learn about these cultural adjustments. You should know that there's more into relocating from Ghana than just taking nice pictures online and making videos and stuff. There's more to it. Talking about homesickness, you will feel homesick, very, very sick. You will miss home because when you see the food over here and you remember the kind of food you had back home. When you see food on TikTok, you will miss home. So for me, what I used to cope with my homesickness is that Ghana to America is just 10 hours. That is when you're going to New York. So when you use Delta Airlines and you don't have any transit, it's just 10 hours non-stop. So I still feel 10 hours away from home then I'm okay with it. So I'll just FaceTime my family and stuff. That is for homesickness. The next thing I'll talk about is academic life. Now I know that you are here for your academics. Your academic is the main reason why you are here. That is if you are coming here as a student. The moment your academics start to decline, they will drop the scholarships because they are giving you the scholarship because we believe that you're a shark, because we believe that your grades are very good and you're going to give us a good performance over here. So the moment you start dropping your GPA, you move into 3.0, 2.9, they're like, no, they'll take the scholarship. They'll just give you one semester to bounce back. If you don't, that is it. Your academics. Take your academics serious. When you come here, Charlie, be prepared to learn, beat the class. Let them know that you from Africa came here because you are smart, you are just like them, and you are even better than them. When you come here, you have to let them know that, oh, this boy is a very great, brilliant boy, because the perceptions they have about us is not even good. So you have to come here and make Africa proud. You have to come here and make your country proud. Let them, when your GPA can, make sure that you're in the dean's list, you're in the provost list, or whatever. Like, be on top of the class. Let your academic life be first. The next thing I would like us to talk about is work opportunities. So one thing is, you guys will realize that the video actually cut. So the video recorded for about 45 minutes or so, and I think it heated, so it went off. So I'm actually continuing over 20 minutes missed videos, 20 minutes worth of video, and I missed it. So we are talking about work opportunities. So work opportunities, when you come here, you'll be able to work only for 20 minutes on campus. And off campus, you'll be only allowed to work if it's in your field. And that one, you really need a further documentation from the school. If you work off campus during school time, it's illegal. But then you can work off campus during the holidays and stuff. I know most of you know this. And will it be enough to take off your fees? Well, it depends on the kind of school you're attending. If you are paying, let's say, $5,000 a semester, $8,000 a semester, you probably can work to pay, because most schools, for my school has a payment plan where you pay your fees monthly. So let's say you go for an agreement on the portal that you are going to pay $1,000 every month for your fees, and in 4 or 5 months you owe, let's say, $5,000. You'll be able to do these things. So yeah, it's very possible. And of course, there are loans over there, but then with the loans, you would need a UK, you need a US citizen or a green card holder to be able to guarantee for you with a good credit. I'm sorry if I'm family, but I'm just going crazy because I lost the video, about 20 minutes worth of video. I said so many things in the previous things, but the phone just went off. I didn't know. And the next thing we'll talk about is, I have my script here. The next thing we're going to talk about is managing fears. Okay, do not let fear hold you in this process. You experience a lot of fears along the line. You hear that, oh, US, when you go for the interview, it's very difficult. They bounce you. Charlie, US, they bounced my guy there. He had money. He had so much money. So me too, I'll not try it. Don't let fear hold you. You are different from that person. Whatever you want in this life is at the other end of your fears. So when you are scared of, let's say you want the success, you want the prosperity, you want the good life, it's at the other end of the things you are scared of. You are scared of taking risk. Risk and luck are brothers. I always say this thing to people, that risk and luck, they are always siblings. Those who took the risk, they are in America right now. Why don't you also put your fears aside and work on it? Do not let fear hold you. And the last thing, last but not least, I'll talk about is sharing this thing with people. I don't know whether you believe in spirituality or whatever, but me, I believe in keeping things private until it actually happens. The reason why I'm saying this is because I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in spiritual things. Psychologically speaking, when you want to work on something and you tell someone, psychologically, your mind feels that, oh, you've already achieved it or you've already done it. So it begins to become reluctant. It begins to lose that momentum and that energy that you had earlier on. And then you know this, that sometimes you want to write, let's say you want to write a book, you want to make a design, you want to make a YouTube video, and you tell your friends that, Charlie, I'm starting YouTube. Oh. You tell all your friends, and your mind already feels that you've done it. So you don't really have that energy within you to actually start it. And that is what will happen physically, psychologically. You'll not be able to start this US thing. And then people will say that, oh, he's a liar. You said you're going to fly, by you, Charlie. You said that you fly long time. You didn't do it. Spiritually speaking, not everyone has a good spirit in them. Whether you believe, I don't care if you believe in those, I don't care. But whether you believe it or not everyone has a good spirit in them. And if someone doesn't have the spirit of God in them, they definitely, I can guarantee you that they have the spirit of darkness in them. And what does the spirit of darkness does? It comes not but to steal, kill, and destroy. And that is what will lead to your dreams. So you'll be telling people that, Charlie, I'm working on this thing. Don't tell anyone. No. There's no way you can tell someone to tell his friend. It's not possible. They'll tell you. And then you start getting attacks. Things will be fighting you just because you want to work on something that you are happy about. You want to work on traveling. So that thing they've been saying, that when you are traveling but don't tell people, it's very true. And don't compare yourself to Americans, that, oh, Americans don't believe in God and those things, but they are actually successful and they are actually this, they are actually that. There are certain things that doesn't need God's effort. They are just common sense that you should apply. And that is what Africa like, or Ghana like. I always say that Ghana is America with sensible leaders. That is America is Ghana with sensible leaders, because when you get here, almost everything is the same. The roads are normal. The roads are not in the sky or no exceptional thing. Everything is normal. It's just that the leaders saw the vision and structured the country in place. So America is not what you all think that, oh, moment you get here, but the bloggers post about people who came here in 3 months. They, 3 months, they are buying cars, they are building houses in Ghana, they are successful. But they never tell you that they come here and they are cleaning. They come here, they are doing jobs that you would never want to do back home. They come here and they are being shouted at. They come here and they are being insulted. They never tell you all these things. Are you prepared for them mentally? Like, have you signed your mind that when I come here, when I get the hate, when I get the disrespect, when I get the whatever, the fights and stuff. Recently, I was speaking to a friend. He's in New York and he's working as a security. And whilst we were on the phone, someone was insulting his business. He was telling me that the only thing he did was to report to authorities that she was smoking in the building. That was the only thing. And the woman was just saying, while we were speaking, the woman was insulting him, and I could hear it clearly using those cussing words and stuff. Are you prepared for all these things? Oh yeah, I'm prepared. So far as I'm going to make my money, you think it's very easy to actually be here. Picture this, even in Ghana, when you are being insulted, how do you feel for the rest of your day? And to come to someone's country and to be treated this way. That is why I always talk about the motivation. Because when you come in, your motivation is to let your enemies I die or to let your enemies feel ashamed or whatever. You get to a point that you will need your motivation, you will need that reason, you will need that why. It will be the only thing. Your friends will not be there for you, your siblings. The only thing that will be holding you is your motivation. The reason why you actually want to be here, the reason why you are here, that should be the only thing that should be holding you. That is why I gave myself as an example earlier on. The why should be so strong to the stand that nothing would shake it. It should be beyond pleasing people online or flexing people online. It should be beyond it at all. It should be beyond prayer. So that is it. Last thing, we'll talk about crimes and racism and whatever. Like I mentioned earlier, racism is everywhere. That is what I believe. I believe racism is even in Ghana. You Ghanaians, when you see people from the north or from Nigeria, look at how you treat them. Look at how we treat them. We see them come and you're acting some way. It's everywhere. That is how people also see you and they'll be walking away. You'll be crossing, and someone will see you come and they'll cross the way because you're a black person. It's normal. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I think it will take a long time. It takes so much energy. It will take so much energy for all of us to understand that we are just one people. Last thing I've talked about racism. Okay, let me mention about the crime. People are like, oh, in US they will shoot you and blah blah blah. I was applying to a school for someone and I was recommending US because they give more scholarships compared to Canada. And she was like, no, 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 no. US they will shoot you. They say that they've been shooting people, but I'm like, I'm in the US, my state. Let me tell you the funny thing about my state. Having a gun openly is legal here. Some states have rules. You can have a gun, but you can't bring it in public. In my state, you can bring it publicly. You can hold the gun outside. Let's say you are working in town, you can have a gun on your neck or in your pocket or anything. It's legal. But I have never seen a physical gun since I came here. I've never, and God is my witness, I've never seen anyone, no person holding a gun. I've never heard anyone being shot in my state. I walk around in the evenings at 10. I go for joggings at 4 a.m. No one has shot anything. I've never hit any gun talk. Even in Ghana, that gun is illegal. You hear people making gunshots and stuff, warnings, shoots and stuff. Over here, you don't hear these things. So forget about what they show in the media about certain states in America, certain ghettos and certain dangerous places in America, and focus on the ones. Or how about the states that has more welcoming culture, that has a multicultural, a state that is much more like a multicultural state where they have a lot of Africans, Americans, people from the Europe, all these places. How about all these states as well? So forget about this racism and these crime activities and stuff. So I think that's pretty much it on my list. I've covered a lot of things over here. I've covered a lot of things. Covered a lot of things. So that's pretty much it for this video. This 1 hour guide. I hope it's 1 hour because I've been talking for a very long time. So thank you so much for watching this video once again. Follow me on TikTok, DM me, Charlie. I believe in you. I believe I can do this thing because if me, Pa, can do this, yeah, you also can do this because I'm like you guys. I the kind of situation that most of you are, I probably experienced it. I didn't have money, connection, no relative, nothing. But I'm out here surviving. I don't have anyone here, like just people I met online, friends I met online, and now by God's grace I'm here. So you can do this thing, Charlie. Focus on this. Don't really lose focus on if you are here and you are working on this project and you are dating girls, wasting your time on women. Charlie, forget about them. When you come here, women, this is the headquarters of the women. When you're a girl and some guy be has booked your heart, and because of that guy, you can't even focus on this vision. It's a vision. It's something that it needs your full attention. You need to focus on it. You need so much attention to focus on it. Don't let anything distract you. When you have little internet, when you have 5 minutes on your phone, don't be watching beefs online and unnecessary arguments and stuff. Research. Maybe I had this to invest in mind. Go to their page, just go and roam on the page, just go and scroll on their page and just, oh, you probably, this school has this. You probably have something in mind, like you see something that you never knew. That is the beauty of it. You see something that you didn't know. So yes, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much. Get an ebook. It's going to summarize every single thing that I said in this video. So in case you want to watch this video and get this book, I know you will not regret it. I'm not sure that you probably go back to these YouTube videos on 15 schools that are giving you admission 2022. 15 schools that has no SAT. Those easy cringe videos that you guys have been watching. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode on my YouTube channel. Let me know any question. If you have anything, if you are stuck anywhere, just DM me. I'm always on my phone, so I'll respond to your DMs. So DM me, leave a comment, and I'll definitely get back to you. Your future can always be better than your present, and you only you have the power to make it so. Mwah!